Tales from the wild. Stories from the heart. A journey into the mind and soul of fired-up business professionals where they share their vision for the future. And hear from a different non-profit organization every month as they create awareness of their goals and their needs. Dive into a world of untamed passion as we join our host, Shireen for this month's episode of Friends from Wild Places.
Sure. Well, thank you for sharing that story.
And I ramble. I'm sorry. I'm a rambler.
Oh, it's fascinating. I'm enjoying our collaboration. So it's awesome. It's awesome.
And thank you for the stories that you're sharing. They're very eye-opening, and it's real life things. So that helps us understand better as well.
Yeah.
Some of the things that you've even mentioned, I deal with as well in my day-to-day businesses of bookkeeping, and people not understanding what's all is entailed in bookkeeping. So thank you again for sharing.
Of course.
Yeah. So I would like to ask you, dealing with death every day have to take its toll on you. What are some of the things you do to refill your tank?
I get this question and I always think, oh, I don't know. I don't really do anything to refill my tank. But then I do hit walls, and it's not even me who recognizes like, hey, Kari, you maybe need to step back or take a breath or like not do the social media for a day or two or something, and it's Josh, my man, who does, or, I realize my kids are kind of different and they're recognizing something's going on with me. So I've realized I have to take a step back, and it's okay if I don't do this today. It's okay if I don't do that today. It's okay if I meet with a family and I make sure their needs are taken care of, but I don't give them all of myself. I don't give them all of my personality and pizzazz that day. And that's okay. And it's taken me, I think, a long time to really get to that point. When I first started in the business, I was coming in on my days off because nobody could care for this family the way I can. And I've got to be here and I got to do this because I'm going to do it the best. And I learned, pretty quickly, like, you get burned out doing that. Like, you cannot be the only one, and you have to trust the team that's around you and your coworkers and everybody, because you can't do everything for everybody. You can't please everyone. And just realizing that was a huge load, I think, off of me. I have tried to build up a kind of community around me, and social media has been beautiful for that, for other funeral directors, other funeral professionals that I can text and say, hey, I had a bad day, or hey, I have this body to make better for the family. What do you think about this scenario? Or going to other people and getting their input. I think that has lightened the load. Looking at work in a different perspective has helped too. Hey, what can I learn from this that I can educate somebody else about? That has been great. I think having the social media and the class where I talk about what I do at work too is almost like therapy session, that I can talk through things like, hey, what did I do wrong? What could I do better? What are some other ideas? And I think that has been huge. Everybody doesn't have that to be able to do. I think we see, though, that so many people do that, and they talk about their day and they talk about things on their TikToks, their YouTubes, their Facebook, whatever it may be. And I think it is a personal therapy type thing, where by talking about it and feeling like somebody's listening, you're getting it out, where before maybe people were just keeping all that in or writing it in journals or whatever they were doing. I've tried the journaling, I've tried whatever. My ADD brain will not let me sit still for 30 minutes to do that, because I could be doing so much more during that time. And maybe that would be good for me, but I do find working out gets me, getting up in the morning and doing a workout, doing something like that helps me get ready for my day. Having my comfort things, my coffee or my glass of wine or a food that I really want. Maybe I do that too much sometimes. I'm like, wow, I've had 3 cups of coffee today, but I really just savor in that moment so much, and it makes me feel like a power businesswoman. I don't even know how to explain it. Like getting my cup of coffee, sitting at my desk with my stuff in front of me, like I am attacking, and that makes me feel better. And so I think it's not as much getting rid of feelings, but replacing them with better, kind of how I need to feel. And that, I think, fills snuggling my kids, taking a moment with them, holding them both, and just like absorbing those moments. Because for a while, I think when I was, and I still do it every once in a while, but you get overwhelmed by life and you kind of push everything away and you think, oh my gosh, I have to do this, or oh my gosh, I have to do that. What is more important than focusing on my kids who are in front of me? And I saw I don't know if it was a TikTok or Facebook post yesterday, actually, and it's a good reminder. It was like, you're putting your kids aside to do more work. You're your kid's only parent. Your work will replace you tomorrow, kind of thing. And when I see those, it just are good reminders that I have one role that is super important in this world, and it's those kids. And I have to keep coming back to that. And that has helped me push out some of the other by focusing on them and bringing in better moments, I think, because of them. Where before I think I got lost for a little bit and trying to build this world around me when they're standing there going, hey, mom, can you do this? Nope, hold on, I got to do this. Hold on, I got to do that. Hold on, I got to do that. Well, there's no hold on. We don't know that we have 5 minutes from now, and we don't know we have an hour from now, and we don't know we have tomorrow. So it's making sure you do what you need to do right now. And I don't know, kind of refocusing. And everyone, it's not a perfect refocus, because you have to keep doing it and have to keep bringing it to the front. And this brings me joy, I need to do this. This brings me joy, I need to make time to do that. Otherwise, you burn out on everything. And I don't know that I take home emotion from work. I take home more burnout and exhaustion than emotion. I think a lot of people think that from working at a funeral home, you bring home emotion, and not so much. I don't get emotional with stuff at work very often. I think it's sweet and it's sad and things when, you hear stories and you see different moments, but I don't get sad about them the way I think a lot of people do. But most people have never walked in a funeral home when they haven't had a loss. And so that's the only way they can think of being at a funeral home, is sadness and loss. And I don't walk in doing that every day. I walk in joking and singing and talking to everybody, and we joke all day long and we talk all day long. We are respectful and somber in the moments we need to, but if you think that behind the scenes we're just sad and mopey, like nobody can do that, and it just doesn't happen. We have music and we talk and we sing and we tell stories, and just like anybody does in any business, it's what we do as well. And it's, I think that's a different perspective that most people don't realize of working at a funeral home.
I think, and Kari, you brought up an excellent point. So another area too, like for Shireen, maybe to kind of like think about is, so in the United States, it's a paid profession, right? So, I mean, families coming to us with their loss of whatever kind, however the person passed, is responsible to pay the funeral home for the services they are requesting. So now you're dealing with anger and displaced anger and people that are upset that their person passed. So we are the targets. I mean, if we mess up or screw up or don't order their casket or their flowers, I mean, they're irate. I mean, so dealing with that, like that's the more probably driving force than, oh, we're going to be compassionate with their loss. I mean, because that's the reality. Yes, of course you feel bad, empathize with their situation, but I mean, you mess up someone's obituary, like Kari alluded to, I mean, they're up one side of you, down another, and you can't cry with them for their loss. It's not our loss. We can empathize, we can direct, we can redirect, we do the best we can, we provide options, we make sure. But at the end of the day, one thing goes wrong, that's it, we're crucified. And I'm sure, Kari, I can probably project that. I mean, if you've experienced it, I mean, we're like, and we just sit there and, you you can't argue. So it's not like we go home like every day, like, oh, this person, I mean, yes, of course, situations you empathize with, but the business side is the business side. It's a paid business, and they have to pay you for services. You have to go over, it's a contract, they sign it, it's a, becomes a legal document. So all of those factors kind of are forefront to the funeral home, and there's repercussions if we don't. I mean, if you let a $10,000 funeral home go out of there, I mean, not only are you dealing with the owners, the managers, I mean, it's just unacceptable. So there's so many moving parts to the funeral business side that I believe that most people, like Kari alluded to, are not even, it's not even a thought. They're just thinking, oh, when I went to a funeral, this is what I experienced.
And it took so much work to make that moment happen. I always say it's a show, and you see what I want you to see, because we are putting together this presentation. There may be pins and duct tape or whatever, making that person appear the way we want them to appear. We're going to have everybody enter. We're playing songs. It is a stage production when you have a viewing and a funeral like that. And it takes a lot of work. And so I can't even begin to get an emotion of it, because like you said, Tanya, we are making sure everything's happening correctly. That's one of the biggest things. Like when I'm teaching, I talk about, and like, if we have new employees that are like, oh my gosh, how do you do this? How do you deal with the emotion of it? And I'm like, you are going to have emotion. I said, but you being emotional means you're not doing your job. And you not doing your job is failing that family. I said, so you have to put in your mind, if you're up at that casket and you're closing that casket, this is not my father. This is not my brother. This is not my loss. Whatever the situation, this is not my loss. This is not my loss. This is not my loss. And I've had people come back and go, oh my God, I did that at work and it worked so good. And I was like, you have to put yourself in the mindset, because what we do as humans is put ourselves in their shoes. Oh my gosh, they must be hurting so bad right now because they're having to say goodbye and see their dad for the last time. And oh my God, if I have to see my dad for the last time, and then it's all about me, and nothing in that moment is about me. And so you do have to keep just repeating to yourself until your brain gets reprogrammed. It's just like seeing the bodies, I think, too, where we know growing up, if there's blood, there's pain. If you see blood, somebody's hurting. You have to realize that there's going to be blood when there is a dead person. They're not hurting. There's no pain there. And so you have to reprogram your brain almost to work in the business. And it's not a weird, like Stepford Wives reprogram, but it's seeing a person be dead, not expecting their chest to raise. I get that email. I was at grandma's funeral and I swear I saw her take a breath and her chest raise. I said, your mind is filling in what should be there. You should be seeing her chest raise because that's what you've seen for 30 years. It's not raising because she is dead, but your mind is filling it in. I don't know psychologically what that's called because I'm not a therapist, but it is your mind filling in the gaps. And so it's okay. Grandma is dead. I promise you, if she's been around 4 or 5 days and she's been involved and she's in that, she is dead and it's okay, but she's not breathing. I promise you that, kind of thing. And that's, people go back to their fears of, well, what if you bury me alive? What if you cremate me alive? You're dead. We're good. We're good. We're okay. That doesn't really happen. Like 0.00001% maybe of the population, but it's not, it's going back to people's fears and what they think, and then having to get accustomed to working in the business and being exposed to all these different things. And I don't even know where that tangent started.
No, it's good. Thank you. You brought 2 very valid points, both you and Tanya. And thank you, Tanya and Kari, for mentioning that. It's a business. At the end of the day, just like I have to deal with unhappy clients or, business troubles every day, you do too. It's a business and it has to keep running. And the other valid point that, yes, blood is not always going to be related. Like, obviously, for me, with my, being trained in class 2 and 3 of first aid and all of that. I'm trained where there's blood, I need to become active and I need to, put all my training into practice to save that person's life. But that's not always the case. And you do have to actually reprogram your mind to say, okay, there is blood, but this person is at peace. They're not in pain. So it's a great point there, Kari. So let me come to the part of the podcast where Friends from Wild Places do take the time every series to sponsor a nonprofit. And so with Kari, this series, we want to take the time and sponsor a patriotguard.org as our nonprofit for the month. And so if you don't mind, Kari, just take a few moments just to tell us exactly a little bit about the organization and how we can support it, please.
Yeah, when you asked me to pick one, this took me the longest of responding to your email, honestly, because there's so many good organizations, one that support financially people who lose children and things. But coming back to the Patriot Guard, it's an all volunteer, complete nonprofit, and they will travel wherever requested to be at a veteran's funeral that maybe nobody can attend to. And if you go to their website, like their whole schedule is there. You know exactly where they're going to be. So that way, if somebody wants to go show up, you don't have to be a veteran to do it. You don't have to ride a motorcycle to do it, which is kind of the stereotypical picture if you see is Patriot Guard is all riding motorcycles and they're leather and they're all veterans, but you don't have to be either to be part and show up to support for that. But they do a lot of good things in terms of funerals. Think about, the funerals where protesters show up. They will come and stand in front of the protesters with flags in a big wall of human to block out the noise and block out the hate and the evil so the family can try and have their funeral for their loved one. So they do so much good stuff when it comes to the funeral business and supporting deaths that need to be respected and honored. If they have just recently at Fort Custer National Cemetery, which is our local, they had a bunch of unclaimed veterans and they had a huge thing for burying all of them and had a ceremony at one time to bury all of them. And the Patriot Guard was there and the riders, and they came in full force and along with other police officers and fire departments and things to honor all of those veterans who had nobody. They had no family, they had nobody. And it's just a beautiful thing for a situation where you want a little extra or somebody when there's nobody, and they just do so much good stuff. Have you seen that, Tanya, where
I'm used to seeing them more so, not so much in person, but just like on the online presence that I've seen.
Yeah, I can't think of the name of that church that does all the terrible, they're out of Kansas or something, and I don't care what their name is, but they show up and try and protest if someone is gay or if they died in a way they don't agree with or whatever the situation, they show up and they protest. They're so ugly. And the fact that the Patriot Guard just comes in and blocks them out, and it's just so beautiful. I think I can't imagine, because I would go ballistic if somebody came in and did something like that at a funeral I was running. I think I would probably get arrested. So I'd be happy they were there for that reason, just to keep me from getting arrested, probably.
Well, Patriot Guard is definitely an amazing nonprofit. They do amazing work. So listeners, if you want to take some time and you're wondering what nonprofit that you could support this month, we really encourage you to go and check patriotguard.org out. There is a place where you can donate and get involved, but that's patriotguard.org. We'll put that in the show notes for you. So thank you, Kari, for sharing that with us. So we have come to the end of the podcast. We could go on all day, I'm sure, ladies, but we are running on time. tight time here, but let's get into something a little bit lighthearted just to end off. We have a question that we can all answer. If you could eliminate one thing from your daily routine, what would it be and why? Let me repeat that. If you could eliminate one thing from your daily routine, what would it be and why? Should we start with you, Kari?
You told me you were going to be asking me, and I still have no answer. Some part of me is like, ooh, I wish I didn't have to do my hair every day, or I wish I didn't have to sleep, because I'd get so much more done if I didn't have to sleep or have to exercise for health and feeling fit, kind of thing. So I feel like some of that vanity would be what I would maybe try to eliminate to get actual stuff done, or have to do work to worry about financials. I would rather just work because I enjoy doing it, not because I have to make money to pay things. So let's go with that one. That sounds way more fun because I like working out. I kind of like getting ready and doing my hair and makeup. I feel good doing that. And I like, all that. So we'll say working for money because you have to pay bills. Let's go with that. I'd get rid of that.
That's a good one. What about yourself, Tanya?
I would say emails. If I could remove emails from my life. Now to any of the listeners that email me personally, okay, I'll take your emails. Okay. I'm just talking about all of the solicitation emails and just the, repeated mundane emails. Yeah. Emails, if I could just remove the emails, but still have access to the people who I want to connect with. So
Okay.
that would be my go-to.
That is fair. Okay, mine's a little deeper. I would love to get rid of my self-sabotaging thoughts. It frustrates me when I catch myself it's just too often where I catch myself and my thoughts are being carried away, and it's just like I'm my own worst enemy, and the thoughts are really not necessary, and I can do without them and breaking myself down. So yes, the self-sabotaging thoughts, if they were a little bug that I could just flick away, I would do that, because they are wasting space in my brain where it could be filled with positive things, confidence, and great things that encourage myself and motivate myself to have a good day. Dang it.
I like that. That is a good one.
But I've actually done quite a bit of work around that. And it's not that we don't have them, or I'll speak for myself. It's almost making the other voices louder to overshadow the negative. So it's a coping mechanism. There's techniques out there. That's what has worked for me personally. It's not that we don't have them. It's kind of like, good person, bad person, right? And you have these two all day conflicting, but it's almost making the good one stronger, louder. So the other one kind of just goes away into the, darkness.
I like that.
So
I like
true.
that. Thank you, Tanya. I like that. So I think put more energy in the good, positive voices and make them louder. I like that. So unfortunately, we've come to the end of the podcast, ladies. So I just want to take a moment where, we tell the listeners where they can find us. They might be really intrigued and interested in this industry. So Kari, where can the listeners find you if they want to reach out to you?
So I'm Kari the Mortician, Kari the Mortician, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, website, karithemortician.com. So I kind of have that moniker everywhere. So you can find me, just type that in and it'll pull all my stuff up.
Love that. Tanya, what about you?
Okay, so most people can find me on LinkedIn since I don't have a TV. So Tanya Scotisi at LinkedIn. I am a full-time professor at Miami-Dade College. We are hiring full-time faculties, Kari. So if you're interested in moving to Florida, feel free to come take the position. I also do senior placement for folks who can no longer live alone. And that was based on my father's journey. And my dad passed away in November 2022. So I do senior placement, and I also do expert witness for funeral home and cemetery cases. So that's pretty much my wheelhouse, but LinkedIn is my hub. And back over to you, Shireen.
Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Kari, for being on the show. And listeners, listen, there's lots more of you. They're thoroughly enjoying this series. We just had an amazing series just before this with about e-waste. So go and check that out. If you run out of content, we've got lots on the channel. So where you can find me personally is on LinkedIn, Shireen Buerta, but Shireen's bookkeeping services you can find on Instagram, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. But more importantly, you can find Friends from Wild Places on the website, as well as YouTube. So go and like, comment, and subscribe. The website is friendsfromwildplaces.buzzsprout.com. That's friendsfromwildplaces.buzzsprout.com. You can go there, or we are on all the live streaming platforms. You just have to search for Friends from Wild Places. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, guys. And remember, you got this, and stay wild. Bye, guys.
You've been listening to Friends from Wild Places with Shireen Buerta. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast from the links to catch every episode and unleash your passion.